Rick Perry's using the current wave of young immigrants coming into America to attack President Obama, but he completely ignores the fact that his Republican Party has blocked every attempt at any kind of meaningful immigration reform. I have Howard Nations with me to tell us what's happening with immigration in the United States today. Howard, Zoe Carpenter with The Nation magazine did a great article on crisis at the border that I thought we could talk about. The border issue is so misunderstood for so many reasons. On one side, you have the hate hype, and the hate hype is they're bringing in disease, they're bringing in gangbangers, they're coming through our borders in droves to basically undermine our justice system. On the other side of the hate, the hate crazies, you have a part of the public that simply doesn't understand what in the hell is going on down there in the border. What's your take on this whole thing?
Well, the nature of the crisis is purely humanitarian. The fact is that Honduras, El Salvador, and Ecuador are the three countries that these children, unaccompanied, are coming in from. And the reason they're fleeing drug trafficking murders in their countries. Honduras, which is the size of New York City, has 20 murders a day. Compared to New York City, Honduras has 7,300 murders a year. New York City, which is the same population, has 333. Biggest murder capital in the world. Ecuador is the number 2 murder capital in the world. So people are sending their kids away.
These are real issues. Zoe Carpenter, when she talked about this article in The Nation, laid out what humanitarian means, and you wonder, is it real? And if you listen to what Zoe Carpenter has to say, your opinion is, from what you're reading, is it is real. This is actually humanitarian. The drug cartels are so out of control that it's just murder in the streets. Any of us can pick up the newspaper and we see, people beheaded. We see dozens of people buried beheaded and buried. We see them hanging on meat spikes, all these types of ugly visuals. So the question, now here's where people are concerned. And I think I have a hard time arguing with this. Is it just coming over the border to us, you see? Isn't that what we really have to answer? In other words, the hate frenzy is one thing, and that the hate frenzy has no analysis about it. The hate frenzy is we simply have these immigrants. But the real question then becomes, are we now seeing the cartels simply moving north with the population? What's your take?
Well, this population that's moving north right now is 40 to 50,000, mostly unaccompanied minors, and they are fleeing from the drug cartels. This all goes back, it's been going on for a number of years, and what happened, the background on this is that in 2008, President Bush and the Republicans were seriously seeking the Hispanic vote. So they passed the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, which was designed to protect victims who are from countries that do not have borders with the United States. That's El Salvador, Honduras, and the exact people that are coming in right now.
Guatemala and all, yeah.
Yeah, Guatemala. The Hispanics then voted 70% for Obama, so Obama is now trying to enforce that act that the Republicans passed and Bush signed, and he's enforcing it. He's seeking $3.7 billion to enforce it, and the Republicans are refusing to fund it.
Well, okay, but let's the people at the border who have their homes there, their businesses there, they're seeing, they're the ones who get most information about what's going on just 50 miles over the border, where you have these horrendous atrocities taking place sometimes. And so I think the only approach here seems to be what Obama is saying, and that is Obama has come out and said, look, I think he said we need $3 billion just to solve the problem. We got to have money to be able to figure out what's real and what's not. Is there some truth to the people, some of the people that are kind of involved in kind of nefarious quality acts? It's easy to say, yeah, they're all children, but they're not all children. So Obama says, well, we got to figure that out. But now you have Congress that says, we're not even going to give you the money to do that. This is your problem now. Solve it with executive order. Isn't that kind of where this thing is moved to?
Yeah, and here's the problem. The law is the problem. Border security is not the problem. The law requires that Health and Human Services give due process hearings to each of these people that come in like this. They're required to have judges, they have to have lawyers, and the process could take years. They're trying to prove whether or not they're actually fleeing in fear of their life and have legitimate danger from their home countries, which these children do. That's where the money comes in. And so it's not about border security. Obama met this week with Governor Perry from Texas. Perry's response he said he had 3 great ideas for handling this problem. 1, he wants to send in surveillance drones. 2 is he wants to send in 1,000 National Guardsmen, and he couldn't remember what the third one was. But Perry is the commander-in-chief of the National Guard. If he wants to send 1,000 National Guardsmen down there, he can.
But what does that do What does that do, Howard, if you have a law that was passed by the Republicans that says this is what you have to do before you can take anybody and send them back over the border? Now, again, this wasn't Obama's law. This was Republicans' law. So Obama's now saying, well, okay, that's the law. Either change the law immediately, okay, with some kind of retro aspect to it, or give me the money so we can have these kinds of hearings that your president, Mr. Republicans, have put in place. Isn't that kind of the distillation of this?
That is the distillation of it. And when you get back to the Congress, what's happening with Boehner, Jack Kennedy wrote a great book called Profiles in Courage. If they ever write a book called Profiles in Cowardice, Boehner gets the cover.
Yeah.
Here's a guy who is suing the president for exceeding his authority for executive action. At the same time, in this case, he's criticizing the president for no executive action. The United States Congress wants immigration reform. 68 senators passed it. 5 House committee chairs have cleared it. And Boehner refuses to have a floor vote. Why?
Well,
because he's afraid of the Tea Party caucus within his own party, afraid he can't keep his own job.
Well, let me just tell you this. We've seen executive orders take place in crises a lot less than this. This is a crisis. Yeah. There's no question about it. They keep coming by the tens of thousands. There's only so much we can absorb quickly. And so it wouldn't surprise me if, hopefully this president will say, look, I can't get money from Congress to have these hearings that the Republicans said they had to have. I can't get money from Congress to put in place anything long term. So I immediately have to take executive action because it's a national emergency. And I think he'd be totally justified. Howard, thank you for joining us. Let's continue talking about this story because it's not one that is easily dealt with. This is one that's going to be around quite a long time.